Hello, I just thought I'd make another video on a program I'm gonna write, guess my number. I don't know what we're gonna learn from it. This is just pretty much for people getting started with basic for Java and they wanna learn some new things maybe. So I haven't really rehearsed this, but we'll just see how it goes. Alright, so let's see. How do I want to start? I guess I will make a subroutine. And I'm going to call it, how about get number? In a subroutine, pretty much everything has to be in a subroutine. You can't program, in the white space between the subroutines. You gotta keep it all inside. Um, let's see, get number, and we'll say, how about random number is going to be an integer, so keep it on whole numbers, and random number is random RND, and it's going to have a minimum of, let's say, 1, and the high limit will be 10. So I'm going to have to put 11 because it excludes the maximum. So this will be 1 to 10. Okay. So when I start out, also I'm going to have to make a design for this. Let's look at this. So we'll open up the designer, and I'll give myself a pane here. We'll just keep it pretty basic, I guess. Let's make a little one. And then I will add on top of this, I'm going to need a label so it can give me some results. I'll call it label output. Output, yes, okay. And also, I'm going to need, make that a little bigger. Gonna need to have an input, so I'll make a text. Let's see, a text field. And this is just where I'm going to type my numbers, so it doesn't really have to be too big. And I like to call these edit boxes. So I'll start with EDT. I'm going to say edit input. Okay, so there's my layout. I have to save it. I'm going to call it layout. Keep it simple. And that way I just do this, and I think I put a lowercase o. I'll make it match. So there's layout. Layout 1. Oh, did I just call it layout? Alright, yeah, I did. Okay, I saw that line. If you have the wrong name or it can't find the file, it puts this line here and you look it up and it says it's missing from your files tab. So call it the same name, it'll see it. Okay, so now I have that. So I'm going to go ahead and dim them up here as process globals, and I made a let's see, I don't think I need to dim the pane because I'm not going to make any changes to the actual pane. Let's see, I had an edit input, and that was a text field, and I had a label. Nah, it doesn't matter. Label output, and that was a label. Okay, so I'll just start out first by getting a number. So let's do I'm going to call this subroutine get number. So it's going to come down here, do the random number, and I'm just going to output it for now. I'm just going to say label output text is going to be whatever that number is, random number. And let's just see what happens when we run it. So the random number this time was 7, and looks like everything's working so far. So okay, but that's not gonna be what it does. So let's see, I'll make another subroutine and I'll call it maybe start start, and it's gonna start by it's gonna say guess my number. I think I'll just go ahead and have it start by getting its number. So I'm gonna say from in here get the number. And what it's going to do is it's going to come down here and it's going to get a random number. But the random number is dimmed inside of the subroutine. So it only lives inside of the subroutine. So what I'm going to do is say return the random number. And it's going to return the random number, but I have to say what kind of variable it's returning. So I will say as an integer. So now it's going to get this random number and it's going to return it to me as an integer. So when I say get number, I'm actually saying just do this right here. And get number is going to be my result. So if I log get number and I run it, then it logs the number. See, this is the actual variable pretty much. Get number is now my variable. And that's another way to use a subroutine. So for a guessing game though, I don't want to log what it is. So what I will do, I'm gonna just kind of put this on ice right now. What I will do is I will say, let's say label output text equals something like are you ready to guess my number? Okay, so I am going to have to add, oops, that's the wrong one. Gonna have to add maybe a start button or something. Probably not doing this the best way, but oh well. Button start. So now I added a button. I'll put it up here. Button start as button. Oh, and on this button start, we'll give it some text that says start. And to make it all make a little more sense, I'm going to say press start when ready to guess my number. Okay. And I'm going to put that up here. Yeah, that's not good programming. I will call another subroutine ready. Sub ready, and this subroutine is going to have a question, and I will also make, since I have that button, right click it, generate. You can generate your dims here too, but I will generate mouse click. So now I have a subroutine, start button, start mouse click. So anytime the button is pressed, this is what happens. So we will say when someone pushes a button, go to start. Push the button, it goes to start, and then start, I'll have label output, text is going to be guess my number. And it's going to get a number, but it's not going to tell us what that number is. So what it's going to do is it's going to wait at that point for us to guess the number. Let's just see how it works so far. Press start when ready to guess my number. Start. Oh, I still have it outputting the number. So let's see it. Oops. Okay, where was that at? I'm gonna make this look cleaner. So guess my number, get a number. Random number equals, it has its random number, label output text. Okay, so that's for, I don't want it to tell me anymore. Okay. Then it should work. Press start. Okay, then it says guess my number. Then I would guess right here. And right now it's not doing anything, but that's where we're going. Let's see, I need to get back into the layout. And whenever I use the edit, generate, we'll say action. So when there's action, which is usually like an enter, then it should call this. So I'm going to say dim, alright, answer as, what am I forgetting here? Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm going to put it on pause and look something up real quick. Okay. I just wanted to look something up. Is number. So let's just pick up where I was. So when they click enter on the after, or they type their number, we're going to have the answer as an integer. And since we're looking for an integer, I'm going to say if is number answer then. So this just makes sure that it is going to be a number. So if it is an answer, if it is a number, then we have our logic. And the random number that I had inside the subroutine, I am now going to make it a global. So, and I'm going to call it computers number as integer, not a radio button, integer. Okay, so get number, we're not going to dim it there. We're going to call it computers number. Alright. And of course, I could just, I don't have to say get number, go to the subroutine. I could just get the random number here, but it's good to practice our subroutines. That's one of the main things I wanted to do with this example is kind of show off subroutines themselves. Okay, so we're going to have the answer as, and I always start out with the variables inside the subroutines. It's always the best practice to keep your variables local as much as you can instead of global. If you have to go to global, then go to global. But if you keep them local, then at the end of the subroutine, the variable is destroyed, and you don't have to have a lingering variable in the background, which can cause some of my programs that are pretty big. They have maps and lists and arrays of large variables. If you have them all global, then pretty soon you could have a memory leak where you keep adding to these variables and your program just keeps drawing in more and more memory, and it gets kind of hard to, when you have a huge program, it gets kind of hard to figure out where all your memory's going. So that just it's a good practice just to keep your variables local as much as you can. All right, so I have answer. Now I'm gonna say if answer equals computers number, then you win. So then let's say winner, and winner is going to be another sub winner, which we will work on later. Let's see, else if answer is greater than computers number, then, and here I'm just going to put label output dot text is your number is too big. Let's say else if answer is less than computer's number, then label output text is your number is too small. Okay, and this is going to be an end if. So here's our logic tree. If answer is a number, then do this. And let's say we can get fancy here and say else label output text that wasn't a, well, we're only checking to see if it's a number. That wasn't a number. And I'm going to say answer is going to be a string. That way, if they type something funny in there, then it won't just cause an error. It'll have that funny thing. It'll say, is this a number? Say I typed a W in there. Is W an answer? And if it if is W a number, and if it is, it'll go here. Otherwise, W is going to be here. So I will say answer and is not a number. So if it's a W, then it'll say W is not a number. Now if I say 5, then okay, 5 still counts as a string because anything could be a string. And then it'll say 5 is a number, and it'll do this logic. If the 5 is the same as the computer's number, then go to subroutine winner. And I think I'm just going to say for now, I don't know if I'll change this later, but for now, I'm just going to say text. You win. And then you can have something down here that, you know, something like that goes to play again or you know, retry or whatever. Okay, so what do we have so far? Let's run it, see what happens. Okay, start. Guess my number. 5. Enter. 5 is not a number. What did I do wrong now? If is number, shouldn't have to say this, but if is number equals true, then I'll just put a little, for debugging, I'll put a little stop here. And we'll run it. Guess, let's see, start. Guess my number. 5. Enter. So now it stopped. And answer. Oh, okay. I forgot to tell it what answer is. So I have to say answer is edit input text. There we go. Let's try that. So I'll hit Control S, which will save. See, this is red right now. Control S will save that change. And I'll bring up the window. Actually, I don't need to bring up the window. And I hit F5 to continue running the program. And now it hit the stop again. And it usually starts at the subroutine that you're in, which is nice. And now I'll look at answer. I'll hover over. And now answer has a value, whereas before it had nothing. So now it says 5. Okay, so now I can say, okay, now I think it's going to work. So I'll take away the stop. And if you want to just step through, you can push F8. Apparently F8 affects my recording software. So right now I can't push F8. It just pauses my video. So I could, I never use these up here, but they have manual steps. I don't know where they are because I never use them. This is the F5. It's the run. Step out. Okay, here it is. Step in. So there's the same as F8. So step to the next line. So if answer equals the computer numbers, then I'm the winner. Otherwise, I'm not. So it'll say, let me just run it. I hit F5. And it'll say your number is too small. It doesn't say guess again. I guess if I wanted to, you know, make it a little better, I'd have it say guess again. So what happens if I try to guess again? I'll say 2. Oh, my number's too small. I should have said like 7 or something. But right now it's not doing anything. So I will do the F8 or the step into, and it's just kind of in limbo. It doesn't know where to go right now because I did my action. There's no looping process for it to return to. It already did the start, it did the get number, and it's just kind of waiting. So what I could do is after I give it an answer and it says no good, then I want to keep going. I don't know. It should actually, because it's the action. The action. So is 7 still too small? What if I said 10? Enter. Alright, well I guess, alright, we're still going here. I guess we're still good. Now it's too big. Okay. 9 is too big. It just doesn't look very good because you can't really see any change here. 8 is you win. Okay, so it works. There's things I want to do to make it better. like, maybe for games usually, or just about any program I've written, they all usually have timers, which I don't want to get into right now because it's a whole nother thing. But with a timer, you could give it more of a, you know, a delay, so you can give it the more of a human touch. Press start. So I'll press start and I'll try it again. So it says guess my number, I guess 5. And your number is too small. But let's say, you know, if 5 is too small, then 4 is going to be too small. So I just try the same thing again. I hit enter. It looks like nothing happens because there's no, the message doesn't disappear and then come back again. And I guess with a timer, that's what, that's what I would do for my next step. So I make it so it disappeared and then came right back and said, oh, your number is still too small. So it doesn't look exactly the same. But there's 7. Hey, I win. Let's see. So anyway, that's as far as we're gonna go with this one. It's already getting pretty long. But so yeah, I made some mistakes. But when you're programming, you're always gonna make mistakes. The biggest thing is to know how to troubleshoot, and with it in debug mode up here, and using your step intos and your runs and your breaks where you want to check things, you can it's real it can be pretty easy to find in the mistakes, and especially with the way this the newer versions of basic for Java B4J, um, it really is pretty nice. You can just hover over, and most of the time it'll show you. Sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it works, and it'll show you the value of that variable. And of course, there's no value in this variable yet because we haven't gotten to it. But I say answer is edit input text, and it gives me shows me right there, so you don't have to look down at the bottom down here, which sometimes you do. Sometimes for some reason it doesn't show you the value. The little window doesn't pop up, and you have to go down here and you have to click on something to see the value. But it's pretty nice. I like it. So thanks for watching. I think I'll wrap this up right here. Bye.